There is a ton of buzz going on right now about this new entry-level pedal from JOYO called the UZI. This little Uzi right here is part of JOYO's R series of pedals just released this year. And this new R series is JOYO's best attempt at taking on higher end, bigger name brand pedals. But this cheap little guy still comes in at less than 50 bucks. Now you guys know that I'm not much of a heavy metal player, but I do know a good crunch when I hear one. And I gotta say, this thing really impressed me, especially for the price. Now from what I can tell, this Uzi is not a clone of any other particular distortion pedal that I know of, unlike the Maximum Overdrive, which was a very obvious ripoff of the Full Tone Full Drive 2. This one seems to be just its own particular flavor. This bias knob right here sort of acts as an EQ shift. So when you turn it all the way down, you get a darker, richer, British, yeah baby, sort of Marshall-esque style distortion. And when you crank it all the way up, you get a brighter, tighter, American
Care for a ride?
MESA-esque sort of distortion, and infinite adjustment anywhere in between. Now for this sound demo, what did I do with that?
Approximately 10 hours later.
Oh, there it is. Now for this sound demo, as always, I'm going to be recording directly into Logic Pro using this Focusrite Scarlett USB interface. And for amp simulation, we're just going to be doing a clean tweed amp. That way the only distortion that you're hearing is coming from this little box right here. As for the EQ on the pedal itself, I'm just going to set it to where it sounds good to my ears, which apparently sounds good to no one else because I'm not a metal player, but tough biscuits, it sounds good to me. And we're just going to leave that EQ the same for all these sound clips, and we're just going to adjust the bias. That way you can get a feel for what that thing actually does. We'll start with the bias straight up at noon, and then we'll go all the way to British, then all the way to American. And you guys can let me know in the comments which is your favorite, and if you like how this thing crunches, there's an affiliate link in the description. But first, coffee. Here's to you guys. Ah! Couldn't tell, that last setting is definitely my favorite setting. It just crunches so dang good. And I also have this other pedal. It's from the same R series from JOYO. It's called the 16 or the XVI, and it's an octave pedal, and it just adds a ton of thickness to those lower chords. And it adds a ton of modulation to those higher notes.